Sorry. I just had to. Had to get that nut out of my system. Alright. Ooh, got a vibration. I appreciate this game for having that feature when the gameplay starts again after getting through a loading screen. You can the controller vibrates to know it's ready. But I also think it's unfortunate that it needs to have that feature because the loading screens in this game are so fucking long.
I think it's much worse when it's not on PS5. Oh, okay. I know where you're about to go. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't. I think I stopped right at this point, and I couldn't.
Okay, well let's head back.
Wait, you want to do Dathomir now?
Yeah.
But I'm like right here, aren't I?
I mean, if you're really, I figure I guess if you want,
yeah.
you can do this
Look at how far away the fucking ship is.
Okay,
like,
I see.
I'll just continue this story. Or do you want to play?
While you eat.
Oh yeah, true. Okay.
Oh, you're going with green.
Yeah. Because I don't have anything other than blue, green, and orange, and I don't like orange as the color because it doesn't. It's not. I don't think it's a canon Star Wars lightsaber color.
No, it's for the special edition.
I know, but like it just looks weird.
Look.
And I think I've always thought green lightsabers look way better than blue ones.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I got it. Woo! Too slow, is he? Yeah. It's been a while.
I do have the more powerful force abilities if you hold down the buttons.
Okay.
Incompetent.
Fuck you too, dude.
Valueless.
Oh god.
That's something I actually kind of really appreciate about this game, is that it actually can be pretty hard if you don't get the parry timings down. Like, I don't want to say this game's like Dark Souls because, you know, that's stupid. Not every game's like Dark Souls, but it definitely, like, I think more games need parry mechanics. Holy shit, I've never seen one of them die that way.
Now.
Actually, now that I think about it, this game actually probably was inspired a lot by Dark Souls, considering the fucking EXP loss mechanic that I don't think makes any sense.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. God damn it! No, that was my fault.
It's okay, you're getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
BD, this could use some power.
There we go. We. Ow.
Just give me a second.
Honestly, the stormtroopers are like my favorite part of this game. It's like they just they have no idea like how fucked they are.
Until it's like a single one of them.
Oh yeah, and then you can scare them shitless. Like they have so much character on them. That's great.
Woo! Ow.
Like, I feel bad because this game is made by EA. It's got a lot of EA-isms. But it's still really good.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's sad.
Yeah.
Wait, is this...
Acquire upgrade. Grade.
You want to climb up a zip line?
Oh, that's how you do
This motor
that.
should do the trick. How does it feel?
I kind of wish that this was a little different. Like, I don't mind having to wait for upgrades. Like, that's definitely a Metroidvania thing. But it feels very arbitrary. Like, you just found a random workbench that apparently had the parts to do this.
Oh, Jesus!
Like, I think that the BD1 upgrades should be, like, found in chests or something. Just make it a little more special. Like, I don't know.
Nah. And then...
Rished.
Thank you. Alright, let's roll. We...
Skungus? Skungus among us?
Shooting at the target. I'll never break his guard. Get up there.
Come on, I got force push. Push him off the edge. Kill him! You're dead.
Well, great. It's just me then.
Can't. Ah, I can't push him off.
Nah.
Fuck that door. Ow.
I see you do kind of... What? What?
Help, please.
I tried jumping and attacking, but he was...
Why don't you just push him away?
Because how would that be jumping?
What is
Never
that?
mind.
Get away from it. Open fire.
Oh, it's the only... Oh, no, I'm not fucking dealing with this again.
Almost the exact same situation.
Bye-bye, pushies.
That's honestly really something funny. Is that I can get my ass kicked, but I always want to defeat every enemy. Because if you ever run away from them, they'll always be like, "Oh, run away, huh?" And it's like, "No, nope, nope. You know what?
I was going to...
You know what? I'm
But-
coming back. I'm gonna kick your ass now," and then they immediately kill me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that this can be a power trip fantasy, like, really good Star Wars game for that, but I enjoy the difficulty of this level. Unless it's like the frog or that one Yeti that I fought that just deals so much damage all at once.
Oh, what the fuck?
What?
I got back over here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where you're supposed to go. You have this new ability, and it kind of feels
I
like
think I know where to
it's just
go.
all a circle now. Oh, these guys fucking suck.
Block this.
You definitely block a lot more than I do.
Glad it died yet.
I need a stim, BD.
Focus, Jedi. Finally. I'm going to bleed you dry.
Ah, damn you.
You're weak.
Fuck you. Alright, let's try that again.
one more time.
Whee! Whee!
Oh my god, you killed them! Oh my god, you killed me!
Too fast.
Ow.
Stay on you.
Here you.
Bitch, fuck up.
Target and fire. Keep calm. Just watch yourself.
Go. That's what I thought.
I could use the stem.
Give them good heals, baby.
I'm watching you. The pain. More.
I definitely almost ate some of the tinfoil wrapper on my sandwich.
That's not bueno.
I always unwrapped it fully as a kid. But I also wasn't worried about dropping food as a kid.
There's something up here. Whee! Oh, fuck.
Collectibles.
Let's try it again. There we go.
I'm definitely glad that EA was able to make at least one good game post Mass Effect 3.
Buried here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also good seeing that they're no longer the shittiest company. Like, I'm not.
Because the bar has been lowered and
Yeah.
no other reason. EA themselves have not changed much.
Yeah. Now, where the hell do I go from here?
I wonder if anything ever happened with like the loot box system. Like I haven't heard
Well, Battlefront 2, it's no longer a thing.
Okay. Yeah, because that was the big, like, inciting factor for a lot of European countries to just outlaw gambling and video games altogether, which I'm like half like for because that's good for eliminating loot boxes, but it's also like you can't feature gambling in a game, which I think is kind of dumb.
Sorry, no, it's not loot. It's not gambling. It's surprise mechanics.
Honestly, just the fact that EA has remained quiet pretty much since then is A-okay with me. I feel like that was definitely the moment where they sat back and was like, maybe we do suck.
And since then, you know...
It's been a while since I played. You want to check out the skill chart?
Yeah.
What do I have available? Alright, I did everything but the combat stuff.
You've not done any form of combat?
No, I got a couple stuff. But like those, I feel like those are less useful than the other two trees.
Let me see. Oh. That, I think, is useful.
Yeah.
Uh,
They both cost... Wait, what?
2, I believe, is what it said.
Oh, sorry, I was looking... Okay.
Okay, where do I go from here?
Just straight
Oh,
down.
there
Yeah,
it is.
right there. I also think this game kind of came out at like the perfect time.
How predictable.
Yeah.
Yes. I know your name.
But Battlefront 2 is much...
Hold on.
All
And
right.
most importantly, about Cordova. Tell me, where did he hide the holocron? Outstanding.
I didn't want to talk anyway. I think this game kind of came out at the perfect time because, like, Rebels introduced the ideas of the Inquisitors, but they didn't really go into what they were about, and they also didn't really make a whole lot of sense because at that time, you didn't really... There weren't a whole lot of Jedi that we knew about that survived Order 66, so all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's other Sith now? What? But, like, now we've got... Like, the Inquisitors are, like, some of the biggest enemies in this era, in the Imperial era of Star Wars, and they help flesh out stuff a lot more. And honestly, that's kind of one of the Inquisitors from the new Kenobi show is one of the best Star Wars characters I've ever seen. So if you haven't watched that yet, I'd highly recommend it. If you like this game, I think you'll like the Obi-Wan show.
You bitch.
Your demise draws nearer.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Another stiff?
You know, the other game that's supposed to come out this year but it hasn't been given a release date, God of War. I feel like the combat in this game definitely feels more like God of War 2018. Like, not exactly, because, I mean, it's got a lot of its own stuff, but this reminds me a lot of the stuff from, like, the bosses in that game as well. Which I'm really happy for. I'm glad that games have evolved to a point where character action stuff is very unique.
Wee!
Oh, thank God. I didn't die.
First try, too!
Not quite
Nice.
as gifted as Sayre's last apprentice, but not bad.
You've been keeping count.
I'm surprised she didn't tell you. Sayre was never good at keeping secrets.
And you know her so well, huh?
She was weak. Cracked in an Imperial torture chair, surrendered the location of her naive Padawan. They would never have found me.
If it wasn't for her,
Oh no, she's hot!
Trilla.
in the flesh.
The sexy flesh.
Not like we would have been able to tell before she took her helmet off.
Faced with a choice to protect herself or her Padawan, she chose self-interest. She'll sell you out too.
Well, I can handle myself.
Can you afford to take that chance? Your new master harbors great darkness. The look on her face when she saw what they had done to me, as I am now. She turned, exposing her true nature. She used the dark side.
Everybody's a little dark.
Oh? How long before she cracks and betrays you too? Is that who you want beside you when you find the holocron? What would Jaro Tapal say?
You have no right to mention his name.
I wonder, what would he think if he could see his Padawan now, skulking in the shadows with a betrayer, granting her access to a legion of impressionable students?
I won't let anyone touch them.
I thought the same thing once.
Okay.
I mean, like, I know it was revealed in the same scene, but I absolutely hate the character takes off their mask to reveal their face, and it's like, we have no idea who this is.
Thanks for the help.
They did. I think it's way more noticeable in Force Awakens, because when Kylo Ren takes his mask off for the first time, and it's Adam Driver, and it's like, I have no idea who you're supposed to be, and later it's revealed that that's Ben Solo, which, if we'd seen his face before that point, maybe it would have been impactful. Just like anytime that happens, it's always a moment of the Lex Luthor in the Flash's body. He's like, finally, I can find out who the Flash is. Takes off his mask. I have no idea who this is.
Alright, now then.
BD, you okay there? And that's another thing I kind of appreciate about this game, because I know EA is not very good at making video games, and so the harmless glitches like that always make it a little more interesting. I wish games would stop putting climbing in there. I wish games would stop having climbing mechanics, though. Like, this is not interesting. It's never interesting. And it sucks because you get so many different good movement options in this game, like the wall run and the...
Whee!
Slicing encrypted transmissions was always a pastime of hers.
I don't know.
Oh, what the fuck?
Like, even Donkey, like, when he was doing his review for Uncharted 4, he was like, he went through all the mechanics of the game, and it had nothing good to say about the climbing. He mentioned it, he's like, and the climbing... And, yeah. I don't know.
I think it's meant to, like, some areas are meant to, like, show off more of the world.
I don't know. Like
I
Uncharted,
think
Uncharted is pretty good about it, yeah. Like, I'll admit that much. Like, you can do a lot of environmental story building with the climbing mechanic, because you're just going throughout, and honestly, Uncharted has some of the best moments of that, but, like, I feel like too many games use that.
Ow, okay. I appreciate you not doing that, dude.
You remember about these guys?
Oh, right.
Yeah, force push. Oh.
You lied to me!
Maybe he's got a thing on the back. You're doing slow. Or...
Hey, BD.
Ow.
These guys suck. You're out of there, so you're gonna get him. Oh, I think you need to time it so when he's about to do the stomp, it looks like it's clear on the middle. Ah, well, you're almost. He's almost dead.
Whatcha?
That feels so great, BD. Good work, BD.
So you know you can actually upgrade the amount of stims and the amount of health? I didn't know that until after I beat the game.
What?
Yeah.
The stim upgrade's one of the first ones you find.
I did not go back to that until after the game.
Yeah. That really sucks, because... which difficulty did you play on?
I think it's like normal.
Normal? Okay. This is the one above normal, but yeah. I was having so much trouble, and I was like, I don't want to lower it. And then I got the first stim upgrade, and now you can heal 3 times. And I was like, oh, thank God, that makes it so much better.
Yeah, but yeah, I managed to beat this whole game with only 2 stims.
I mean, definitely possible, I'm sure, but... It's like, the enemies hit you so hard on this difficulty, and, like, it's, like, almost aggravating.
For what?
My scouts located an artifact.
How did you get this frequency?
She mentioned it, I don't fucking remember.
Learning his...
Fuck you, that's how.
It seems Cordova was rather taken with these Zephyr. Perhaps
I'm gonna...
Just remember that, just every time, every time I have that question of why do the enemy, why can the my enemies talk to me over the radios? It's just the fucking scene from the Snap Cube dub. Why is Sonic on the villain's frequency?
Come on, fire!
Bitch.
That's what I thought, bitch. Wee.
Wee. Yep, scan that ball. Scan them balls.
So many balls.
Very nice.
Fuck this one. Ooh.
Let's head out.
What? They fell from the ceiling.
Oh, you found something.
Lightsaber material.
Nice. Oh, let him scan. Let him do the little thing.
A doodly bop.
My friend, what I found here is disconcerting.
How do I pull?
Jump. We don't have. I don't have pull yet.
Maybe I'll find out in a second then.
If we need it to progress, I'm sure we get it soon. This seems like the area would give it to you.
Yeah.
The fuck? Just popped it right out. Whoa. Oh, because of the gravity.
Oh. Okay,
Fucking give me Twilight Princess flashbacks to the Iron Boots segments.
oh, wait. Here we go.
Just turn that off.
But in fact, you can kill enemies with that.
Oh, I figured.
Rats! Totally worth it.
I'm sure you probably get options for it later, but I think one of my biggest issues with the combat of this game is that you're not able to kill enemies long range that well.
I don't know.
I should have rested.
Yeah, probably should have.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of options for long range, but they always have guns and stuff, and it can be really annoying when you're trying to get up to an enemy. But I'm sure that gets fixed, and also I should probably use the block mechanic more often.
Yeah, definitely.
No, it's not that I don't block, it's just I try to parry, and my timing is not great. Just push them away. Just let the gravity do your killing. You're a Jedi. You're not supposed to kill.
Bye.
I'm so torn about the prequels, and like I know this is a big like change of subject, but like there's so much stuff in the prequels that like makes a lot of sense when you think about it, but the movies themselves are garbage. Because the actual like, and a lot of people got mad about this when they came out, but like a lot of the Jedi do not act like Jedi in the Clone Wars era. They are a lot more ruthless, and fucking Mace Windu fucking kills Jango Fett, like stuff like that. That's not what Jedi are about, and the original trilogy was pretty consistent about that message, that they're warriors of peace. But like, if you think about it,
well, Mace Windu's fighting style, I heard, is it's much more embraces the dark side than the actual Jedi.
Oh yeah, and like that,
it was believed he was the right fit for actually killing.
He's definitely a bad example
Palpatine.
because like his all the lore that he's been given reflects that as well. But it's like there's stuff that you learn about the prequels through extended material that's like, oh, the Jedi Temple is sitting on a conduit of Sith. Like it was literally built on a Sith temple.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it kind of explains how well the dark side was corrupting the Force in the era of the prequels, why they weren't able to see that Sidious was a Sith Lord despite his overwhelming power. And just it's not super noticeable because again the movies are bad, but very subtly the Jedi start out pretty peaceful in Phantom Menace, and then as the time goes on they get worse and worse and more warmongery, and like you can see how that, I don't know, it's again it's not portrayed very well is the thing, is that it's kind of brilliant but also stupid.
You're going to bleed. I'll relish killing you. Running again.
Yeah, damn it.
I don't think you can push these guys. No, you absolutely can. It's just they're a lot more resistant to it.
Not resistant to getting fucking sliced in half, motherfucker.
And that's the other thing is like, Revenge of the Sith is kind of really dumb because it puts everybody right in the places for where they're at the beginning of New Hope, which is not necessarily realistic, but it's like, there are scenes that don't make sense with that context, like Yoda running away from Sidious after barely putting up a fight against him. Like, that always pissed me off. But then I saw, like, he realized he was right, and that the Jedi had died because their way, and so he left to basically.
What was the planet called?
Which one?
The one that Yoda goes to.
Dagobah. Dagobah, yeah. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, George Lucas wasn't the best at writing those stories, but it's also like kind of okay. Like, and people have pointed this out as well. Like, once Yoda and Obi-Wan meet up, could they have beat Sidious? And the answer is yes, absolutely, because Darth Vader wasn't like there's that brief period of time before he gets in the suit. Could they have done it? Yes, absolutely, but also like it kind of.
Oh Jesus! How about you?
There's this idea that they didn't go back and fight because they would fully lose what it means to be a Jedi by doing that. Like, they would succumb to their warmongering ways, and what they would become would not even be Jedi. So even though it's not necessarily the right thing to do, it's about the morality about it, which is very much a George Lucas way of putting it, but also like, yeah, I don't know, the prequels are really dumb, but I also think that with some editing they could have been really, really good, and it's maddening that they're not. And it really sucks because Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader in the Kenobi show is so good. It's so disappointing that.
Not the right one. Did you see that? Did you see that fucking rat hop?
It just flies away. Now it must go. This half of its body is needed.
It's needed by its people. Oh dear God, I'm scared.
You could honestly say this about any enemy in this game, but if you don't go in like fully prepared, any enemy could fuck you up. Except for like maybe the basic ass stormtroopers with just the gun and nothing else.
Sure it's worth the cost? I hear Project Augur came at a high price.
Stormtroopers and workers. Expendable resources.
You're a monster.
I am
a sexy monster. What's over here? Let's check out and deal with this.
Mine, traitor.
Hi, were you just standing there, waiting, looking at the wall?
What the fuck?
Hey! What did... hold on. Who's that? There's just a random rat.
They became best friends.
Apparently not.
When it comes to me, they are. Fuck you.
Dude, you have like 2 health. Oh my God!
Man, shut the fuck up.
Another rat!
Thanks for the assist, rat. Fucking rat took the damn kill.
God.
I'm gonna... Oh, okay.
You don't have any... I do appreciate the fact that there's friendly fire in this game too. Like that's amazing. Although for some reason, I think you remember the last AT-AT fight on Kashyyyk?
Yeah.
Apparently that does not have friendly fire. Because on the attempt that I actually beat it, there was one random ass stormtrooper that stayed alive until it appeared, and I could not focus on him long enough because the AT kept attacking me, so I was like, fuck it, you're staying alive. And I killed the AT, and all that was left was this rando stormtrooper that was completely immune to all the explosions and stuff the walker was setting down. And I was like, what the fuck? Come on, dude. And I just... I was so frustrated because he almost killed me after that, too.
Oh, here we go.
I've taken the artifact back to my ship for analysis. Pity you couldn't make it in time.
Doesn't matter what you steal. You'll never understand it.
Yet you do?
You'll find out soon enough.
I'll take those odds.
I think we need more Star Wars material from before the era of the prequels, like way back before, because we're like really focused.
I do recommend you play Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list. I know it's among a lot of people's opinions one of the best Star Wars material there is.
It's just it's mainly auto battle, so
yeah. But it's just like we're really focused on this.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. This era of like about 50 years ish. Like I think prequels era takes place over like 7 years ish. I don't know. There's a big jump between episode 1 and 2, and then I think there's 3 between Clone War, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. Then there's a 20-year gap to New Hope, and again, I don't know the time gap between within the trilogies.
But Knights of the Old Republic, I think it's like 500 years before the events of the movies.
Yeah, like we're really focused on this era, but I think that and this was definitely a problem with Last Skywalker too, is that we're really focused on the Sidious being the main villain and Darth Vader, that kind of era. But there's so many other characters. Like, you don't even have to make new ones. Especially the Sith too, because they're even though this era has so little Sith, you've got all the Inquisitors now that you've added in, and everybody before Sidious as well. Almost every Sith in the series is really fucking badass. And
I noticed something.
I just want fucking Darth Bane. I hate to do this again.
There is I can't remember what, there was a female one, a Sith Lord. Look her up. She's really hot.
Are you talking about the Twi'lek?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also amazing. Like I said, all the fucking Sith have really good backstories.
Come on.
I can't remember for sure what Darth Bane's stuff is, because I haven't looked at him in a while. But he has what is the armor made of? It's like Star Wars equivalent of adamantium.
Durasteel?
Something like that. Yeah, it's like he made this set of armor, and then I think his master tried to kill him because of it, and it was very much a Darth Vader situation of he basically didn't have skin, but the power of the dark side made him so angry that he couldn't die. The armor basically keeps his body together after that point.
There was one I heard, I can't remember what their name is, but they used the Force to keep them alive.
Yeah.
They constantly had to have the Force on them. That was they used it to keep their organs in place, basically.
Oh yeah, and that's seriously I love when the Force is used like that. I think the Force being used, all of the uses of the Force in prequels feels really dumb, feels very generic. But it was always in the original trilogy, and especially in the sequel trilogy too. They use it as something a lot more spiritual and reflects the emotions of the user. And Clone Wars even gets into it too, how Anakin is very much a good person, but when he gives in to his emotions, his powers grow exponentially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's really, I'm okay with them inventing new powers for the sake of stuff like that. But there's also stuff that I don't like. Oh, nice! You pushed people off. Nice.
Well, that was quick.
That is honestly my favorite thing to do in this game. Just fucking push everybody off the edge. What you gonna do?
Oh, okay.
Apparently did that. What was I saying?
Different.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm kind of mixed on.
Where is the Force?
I don't know.
Everywhere. It is within me. It surrounds me.
Just so.
Because when
There will be times when emotion, pain, or exhaustion.
I completely forgot the name of the movie. Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker introduces Force healing. The idea that Jedi can use the Force to heal people, even from death. Which is really stupid when you realize that the whole reason that Anakin turned to the dark side is because he couldn't keep Padme from dying with the light side of the Force alone. It's like, how long has this been around? Oh, it's been around a long time. What? It feels like a total asshole. Look, it has to make sense, you know?
Relax, Padawan.
Is there a reason I'm upside down while we do this?
He can't focus because the blood is rushing to his head.
The Force is with me. It connects us.
There we go. Now we got Force Pull. Like, one of the basics.
Yeah, one of the most basic things you can do with the Force. Even though it wasn't in A New Hope, I don't think.
New Hope?
Yeah, New Hope, they barely use the Force at all.
Well,
like,
that's because...
because they don't really... It's not a physical thing, either. It's like they establish it. It's, I don't know. You know what the Force is, and they establish that from the first movie, but they don't use it to move things.
Speaking of which, I wanted to tell you about fucking when Ellie was high off of,
Actually, no.
painkillers.
I guess they do, because, like, Darth Vader chokes people in the first one.
So, anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
So, I had a very interesting conversation with her. The first day she was on painkillers, she could not get up. She was sitting in the living room. I was trying to get her downstairs to bed, and she kind of just slumped to the ground and was giggling too much to move. And according to her mother, she also believes she had the Force because she was able to wiggle her toes. Don't ask me how.
I get that. Like, sometimes when I get really high, I'm just like, how is my body moving? Like, I can feel, like, I know that I'm moving it, but it's like there's a step that's missing, you know? It's really hard to explain.
His connection with the Force.
New skills are available. I can't wait to ignore. Oh fuck, there's a lot.
Let's see, lightsaber.
Wait, what's the one on survival side? I just want to see what that is.
I think it's health upgrade.
That's okay. That's cool, but boring. Yeah.
How's maximum life? Yeah, max health.
Yeah, it's good, but it's. Oh, I didn't see that one down there. More life, also good, but also boring.
Alright, well, let's see some of the cooler ones, like saber throw, power throw, ultimate force attunement,
maximum force. What's the other one up there in that little triangle?
What triangle?
Up the top. Those three, up there in the.
This?
Yeah. Power throw.
Power throws.
Oh, okay. So it's just increased throw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friendship. 81 slim casters.
Oh,
your
that's really good.
Grasping pole.
Pull and hold most enemies. Oh, that's also a really good one.
Oh yeah. And then what's that? Hollowing push. Powerful push.
Groups of enemies flying and not.
Okay, so stronger force push. Let's do the grasping pull though.
Yeah, pull, and then the next one should be the lightsaber throw.
All right.
Or wait, no. BD's healing thing, but that's 3 skill points, so it could be a while.
Yeah.
Like that, like I said, there's not a whole lot of options for enemies that are super far away from you. This will definitely, I feel like, help. BD? Man, he's been having some problems today. Anytime we try to go anywhere.
But anyway, then we managed to somehow get downstairs.
Yes.
And then I told her, come on, we gotta get you. I was like, I can't. What if Oompa Loompas attack? Oompa Loompas aren't real. Oh yeah, then explain Trump.
And you didn't have a response for that.
I was like, well, you fucking got me there.
Just push.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Why would you L2 that thing? It's trying to explode.
Come here, you.
Oh, look, he's scared.
No. What?
Keep your guard up.
Aw, damn it.
And that's another thing about, like, the pull of the dark side, is that every Jedi that you meet post-Clone Wars is a little bit, like, a little bit of the dark side, like, except for literally Obi-Wan and Yoda. Like, those are the only two that really feel like they're proper Jedi. Luke is probably the most obvious, because he gets covered a lot in his original trilogy. Rey gets pulled to the dark side, but it's also, like, kind of confusing, and that's just a product of the sequels. And Kylo, well, he's a Sith at the beginning of Force Awakens, so that's the most obvious. And, like, Ahsoka as well.
I need your thing. What?
Oops. Honestly, if I'm being honest, Ahsoka's probably my favorite Jedi character. Like, out of all of them. You could definitely... Oh, God. Please watch Clone Wars if you haven't already.
I do need to get back at that. I think it's the legendary Shaggy. I think he's my favorite.
No, not that series. The other one.
I know, but in my heart of hearts, I know he's canon.
I'm so mad that they made that not canon, because, like, it actually ties into, like, the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they released it as the bridge the gap between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and there's stuff that happens at the end of that series that happens immediately before Revenge of the Sith starts. It's like how you learn how Palpatine got kidnapped and shit. So it is important, but it also can't exist because Asajj Ventress is in the Gennady Tartakovsky series. She fights. She has ultimately the same role. She's Count Dooku's apprentice, but she fights Anakin and he kills her. Like, he kills her outright, and that doesn't happen in canon anymore. Asajj is around for all of Clone Wars, and I think she shows up. And what's the most latest thing she shows up in? I think she's featured at the end of the Clone Wars series.
What happens to her?
I can't remember. She like goes off on her own. She's not. She definitely still has her powers, but she's not. She's definitely like what Maul is in the Clone Wars. She's kind of on her own side, you know.
Let's take him on.
I don't know. It's really weird that they never did anything with Asajj. Is the thing.
Toss me one, BD.
We'll vanquish you. Did I hit? Assault him.
Good job, guys.
Beautiful.
Oh.
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 No.
No. You guys paying attention? What are you waiting on?
Kill the Jedi.
Oh, fuck me. Nope.
Now, BD.
Yeah, I think that Force thing with BB is going to be the next thing to shoot for. Like, that seems amazingly good.
Pursuing him. He's wounded. Target in critical condition. One has fighted him. Go hit me.
So I was listening to the Unexpectables, and something came up that gave me the idea for a character, and I have no idea what to how to implement this. But the idea that I had would be a D&D character that operates on Devil May Cry rules that...
Ah, damn it.
like the better you do in combat, like if you hit consistently and dodge attacks, you know, you get your stylish meter goes up. Definitely would be hard to do that exactly with the mechanics in 5e as written, but I think like flavor wise that would be a fun thing to do. But I have no idea which one to do because there's no real weapon switching mechanic, and that's definitely one of my least favorite parts of D&D 5e is that the weapons are all effectively the same and you should always just use the one with the biggest number. So right off the bat, the problem with that kind of build is that the weapon would not be fairly interesting. So I thought maybe like a version of Kensei Monk, because Monk is just Kensei Monk is just, you know, regular monk, but you get to use martial weapons. Plus, it would also be very good for like the not getting hit factor.
Can you get to him? Come on, hit him.
Nope. There we go.
It's just
Shoot the intruder.
Here, have him.
you'd have to like combine Kensei Monk with Battlemaster Fighter almost. But I do think that's an interesting idea. I'd have to workshop it more.
Ow.
Fuck it, I could just do a Devil May Cry build and have a Tiefling Kensei Monk Battlemaster Fighter. Give me that. You don't need that. Oh, okay, I guess you do. So, you farted.
Fuck it.
Now, BD.
Why didn't it shoot up in the air?
Yeah, he tries to go for you, but if you're too close, it like shoots behind him.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Could use a little help, BD. Nice work.
Wee.
That was another reason why I was okay with playing on the higher difficulties, because I knew this game would have stupid fun like skills you could get, and you get more experience if you play on higher difficulties. So you can get those stupid awesome skills faster. Come here, you. Ah, it's the guy that has my XP! Blah.
Oh, they're dead. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Give me up. Give. No, fine.
Oh no.
I might have forgotten to jump. No, wrong button. Oh, thank God.
Like, look at all those fucking movement options. It's so cool. Give me that. Just open the fucking door. Oh, give me a second.
I gotta hear this.
This was an offering to the sage buried here. At the time, it was considered precious.
What up?
Oh, jeez.
Now, how the hell did you get in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Ow.
I'm definitely very torn when it comes to Star Wars, like, in general, because, like, right now it's very much marketing to nostalgia and, like, using stuff that people already know. But it's also, like, I think you can very easily do that well. Like, I think there's a lot of characters that you can make good stories out of, and I think the Kenobi show is a good example of that. That is a show that did not need to exist, but it actually really enhances the stories of Anakin and Obi-Wan, in my opinion. And it gives a lot more context to Leia in the original trilogy. But it's also like, I want to see new stuff as well. And I feel like a lot of the Star Wars fandom, intentionally otherwise, feels very much the same way. They're very split between whether they want to see old stuff or new stuff.
Yep.
Because the stuff that's doing good is the stuff that panders to the old stuff, and the stuff that's bad is the stuff that's trying to be new. And Disney has made it clear which one they're moving towards, but yeah. It's not necessarily done well when you pander to that nostalgia. Like, it really sucks that they stopped doing the spin-offs movies, because I really think that had a lot of potential to it. But they stopped doing it specifically because Solo, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the recasting of Han Solo, which is stupid. I think the guy actually did a really good job, and now that the movie is out, people are like, yeah, he's fine. But Disney saw that controversy and was like, yeah, we're not going to recast anyone ever. We're going to use these deep fakes of all actors, and it's really unsettling. And like, they did it in Rogue One, and it was kind of one of the worst parts of the movie. They did it in both Last Jedi I don't think they did it in Last Jedi, because Carrie Fisher lived through all of the shooting for that film. But they did it with Carrie Fisher in fucking Rise of Skywalker, and then they did it again with Mark Hamill in Book of Boba Fett, which is really weird because Mark Hamill's still alive. Okay, so spoilers, I guess, for Mandalorian, but have you watched Mandalorian all the way through?
No.
Okay, at the end of Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker...
Oh, I know he's in the movie.
Yeah. He comes in, but it's not a real person. They use CGI to do young Mark Hamill's face and voice on an actor's body.
Why?
Yeah. And then, it's not noticeable in Mandalorian, because you only see his face and hear him talk for one scene, and there's other stuff going on that's a little more important. But then they have him show up in Book of Boba Fett, and that one's really weird, because not only is it not a human face, it's the recreation of Mark Hamill's face, but they're using a synthetic voice made of clips of Mark Hamill's voice from when he did the original trilogy, and it's really unsettling. And it's just like, Disney, please just recast people. It's not hard, and it's way better than doing this weird, uncanny valley shit.
That is fucking what?
Yeah, and I forget why I started talking about this, but it's like... Oh yeah, because I wanted to talk about the spin-offs. I really like the spin-offs. Rogue One and Solo, well, they're not great, but I think they're really interesting and really help it. Solo is a really fun time, but doesn't really have much to do with any other stories in the universe. And Rogue One enhances the story of New Hope a lot, and it had a lot of interesting ideas, but a lot of weird things in it. It's kind of hard to explain without seeing the movie, but it's one of those situations where it's like, the movie on its own is not bad, and there's no real glaring issues, but the little things add up over time. And Rogue One is definitely one of the movies that I'm most mixed about, because I go back and forth between loving and hating it a lot. But it's those were interesting. I feel like there was a lot of potential there, especially compared to the sequel trilogy. And I'm kind of right about that with how Rise of Skywalker went. But Solo didn't do good, and it wasn't for the reasons that Disney thought. They didn't do good because it was only 3 months after the release of Last Jedi, so people didn't really want to see another Star Wars movie so soon. Also, it came after Last Jedi, one of the most controversial at the time Star Wars movies to ever exist, and burned a lot of people out on Star Wars in general. And also, I don't know, there's some other things wrong with Solo, but it's they stopped doing the spin-offs after that, and now, since Rise of Skywalker did so bad, they haven't announced any plans for any other movies, and I'm just like, I think they're really trying to turn towards the TV shows now, which it worked until it didn't. Like, I'm glad Kenobi exists, but it definitely feels like it could have just been a movie, which actually was the plan originally, funnily enough, but I don't have a lot of problems with Kenobi, but it definitely feels like it's a 6-episode TV show that probably could have been condensed into either a 4-episode TV show or just a movie, and it would have had better pacing. And I feel like that's kind of the model, because now they have, like the Book of Boba Fett. It feels like they wanted to do a Boba Fett movie and also Mandalorian Season 3 at the same time, and kind of did that. I don't know what's going on with Book of Boba Fett, because, like, I tried watching it, I just couldn't. I was not interested. Like, I don't think I'm in the minority here, but I've never given a shit about Boba Fett. I honestly think it's silly people like Boba Fett as much as they do. I've never thought he was interesting. I think that Jango in the prequels is actually a way more interesting character.
Remains
and
a successful soldier. They were killed
like,
for stealing an off-ramp.
especially the fact that they claim that Boba Fett's this super badass bounty hunter. The only thing you see him do in the original trilogy is fight on Jabba's ships and immediately get hurtled into the
sand pit.
He does not do anything interesting or cool in those movies, and I have no idea why people like him. And so they decided to make a whole series about him because he actually got one cool scene in Mandalorian Season 2. But it's like, I've just never given a shit about Boba Fett, and I don't care. I think he works really well as a side character, and we already have a really badass Mandalorian character with a TV show and, like, interesting character motivations in the form of the Mandalorian. I feel like you could have just done that, given us a Season 3. I don't know. Yeah, so I didn't watch Book of Boba Fett when it came out, and I tried watching the first episode. I'm just like, I do not give a shit. I stopped watching like 7 minutes in. Although, I guess, do you care about spoilers?
No.
Okay, so Book of Boba Fett takes place after Mandalorian Season 2, so after the Empire falls. And I actually might try to power through Book of Boba Fett to see this, but the final enemy that Boba fights at the end of his series is Cad Bane. He comes back, and they fight to the death.
Who is Cad Bane?
Cad Bane's the bounty hunter from Clone Wars, the blue guy with the hat.
Oh.
Yeah, he's really cool. I really like Cad Bane. And honestly, he kind of an enemy for Boba Fett in this era of his life. But, like, I just wish he showed up in a better series, you know?
Yeah.
It's also the first time we'd seen Cad Bane in live action, and it's really cool. Yeah, so I'd probably want to power through Book of Boba Fett just to see that, but it's just like... How do you feel about them bringing Mace Windu back?
I think it's
kind of weird, because I've never... Mace Windu is also another character that I've never really cared about. Like, I think he's really interesting for the Clone Wars era, but I can't think of anything that he would be really, like... outside of the context of Clone Wars, he just doesn't feel like that interesting of a character.
Yeah.
Like, you've got Obi-Wan, who originally was in the original trilogy, and he was this wise mentor figure, and part of the appeal of the prequels was seeing him grow from this more headstrong apprentice to Qui-Gon to kind of being a little bit more grounded after watching him die and having to take care of Anakin, and then going from that to being ultimately humbled by Anakin turning to the dark side. And so, like, you've got that. There's a lot you can do with that, and it's not a whole lot that's explored. And so, the two things that we've gotten from Obi-Wan since then, the Rebel scene with him killing Darth Maul off, even though it's like a 2-minute scene, it's some of the best character moments for Obi-Wan I've ever seen. And then like his TV series that he just got, like, there's a lot you can do with a story with that kind of character, like, that goes through such a radical change. But it's like Mace Windu, we've only seen him in this Clone Wars era because he was only supposed to be there for him to, like
he was meant to die.
Revenge of the Sith was written with the idea that the only Jedi that survive it are Obi-Wan and Yoda. Like, none of the people that were in that were supposed to survive. And Revenge of the Sith is fucking lethal with killing them off. And then people realized, hey, wait, wouldn't it be way more interesting if more Jedi actually survived Order of 66 and there was more than just those two? And people were like, yeah, probably. But I just don't think Mace Windu is a good choice for that. Like, Ahsoka makes a lot more sense because she was invented for this Clone Wars series, and her conflict within Order 66 is the driving force at the end of the final season.
Alright, so you wanted to get which one did you want to get?
I wanted to shoot for the BD-1. When you use the stim, it also feels force.
Alright.
Because, like, that is really helpful.
Alright.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Ahsoka's story especially really gives... like, there's a lot of theories about which order you should watch Star Wars in. I really think the best way to do it is in chronological order at this point. Because at the time that final season of Clone Wars came out, we'd already seen Ahsoka in Rebels, which takes place after the end of Clone Wars. So we knew she'd survive by the time that season came out. But it was also, like, one of the best moments, like, seeing her struggle in the Order 66, because, like, I don't know, I just don't like prequels in general, because, like, you don't feel tension, you know, with characters that are you've already seen them in other material in the future. You know that they're going to survive. And so that was kind of one of the things about Obi-Wan, the series. I was like, I know Darth Vader can't die, Obi-Wan can't die, Luke and Leia can't die, like, they're all there, but basically anyone else can, and that was the fun of it, is just seeing, like, what's the deal with these other characters. And then going back to prequels, it's like, that's never-ending tension, basically, because you know all the Jedi are going to die, you just don't know how. And, you know, Obi-Wan's never in any danger, Anakin's never in any danger. That's why I really think we should focus on more than just the Sidious era, I guess you could call it. I hate that because the sequels definitely felt like they were not supposed to be connected to that at all. But then they were like, you know, suddenly, somehow, Palpatine returned. Oh well. It's fine.
the fuck do I do this again?
I think you kind of had it. I don't know.
I'm supposed to get one of those over here somehow to...
Yeah. So, like, you put that there.
But, like, this water is keeping me from doing it.
Okay. What's that thing? Is that a button there?
Oh, it turns on this.
Alright, I really haven't been paying much attention to the game. I'm kind of just ranting about Star Wars.
Yeah.
How can we stop the candles from getting doused? Right, we can use their metal casings to our advantage.
That helped? What? It's a metal casing.
Hold on. Oh, so you have to, like, hold it under the water? Oh, like that.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, the fuck? This big fucking Wile E. Coyote cartoon. It had to it realized it wasn't standing on anything. It just fell. Come here, ball. We're going on an adventure. Ta-da!
I mean, you were wrong.
Yo, Rebels is one of the weirdest Star Wars, like, things to exist. Because I don't, like, hate it, but it also introduces a lot of concepts that are really out there, even for Star Wars. And you haven't seen Rebels, right?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna say something that's gonna blow your mind.
I have finally found a representation of this sacred Zepho artifact. My friend, look closely. Gunner. You can see an object in their hand. Based on this imagery, I believe this object allows a Force wielder to perceive the mysteries of the vault. This is the key and the guide, the Zepho Astrium. But who would destroy images of it and why? Requires more research. However, our next step is clear. Find an Astrium, if any still exist.
An Astrium. You ever heard of it? Me neither. But a key. Yeah, I understand that. Looks like we know what we have to find.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about something from Rebels, because it's really weird. And it makes sense in the context of the story, but it's also like I said, just fucking weird for Star Wars. So season 2's finale might be one of the best moments in that show. It deals with the conflict of Darth Vader is coming after these guys that are basically the beginning of the rebellion. But
What are you talking
they're all characters that are main characters of this stupid show. But then you find out that one of their basically their contacts is actually Ahsoka, and that's a pretty big reveal.
I think I remember seeing the scene you're talking about.
Yeah, and so then season 2 ultimately comes to a head when we have Ahsoka versus Darth Vader, and then she cuts off part of his helmet, revealing Anakin underneath, and she realizes it, and it's one of the best scenes in the show. But how that scene resolves is the main character gets out of there, and then you see Darth Vader leaving, kind of defeated, and he does not show up in the show ever again. But you don't see Ahsoka leave. And it kind of just leaves it open to interpretation until you get to season 4, where the main character finds this Jedi temple of sorts. Like, temple's kind of a weird, like, not correct word for it. It's more like an extra-dimensional space. And then, with using the Force within that space, he's able to open doorways to different points in time, including the moment when Ahsoka was fighting Darth Vader, and just is like, hey, come in here. And she just, like, jumps and joins him. So, Rebels has this idea that the Force can literally allow you to time travel. And it's just like... It kind of blows my mind, because, like... It doesn't dwell on it either. I don't know. Rebels is so weird, and I don't think it's nearly as good as Clone Wars, but that 4th season kind of brings it back a bit.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, never mind. I guess I go fuck myself.
Right.
There we go.
If you can't tell, I'm in very much, like...
Star Wars mode.
Star Wars mode, yeah. Like, I've been this way for a good while now. Like, definitely...
No, I get you.
Is my hyper-fixation of choice. And it's so funny because, like, Star Wars has kind of been... It's been sort of on the same level for Kingdom Hearts was for me. Where I kind of love to hate it at some points. And I definitely still feel this way. But a lot of Star Wars is not good. And one of the fun things about Star Wars is that you never really know what you're going to get. And Clone Wars especially is one of those things where it's a big...
I think this might be a lift to the lower floor.
Like, Clone Wars is actually a really good,
good for heading back.
Gauge for that as well, because, like, there's so many episodes that are just basically filler and don't have any importance, and they're kind of just straight out boring. And then there's the good shit. And it's some of the best stuff that's in Star Wars, and I feel like everything Star Wars is that, is you never know whether it's going to be good or bad or something in between. It's kind of the fun of it. But now I've kind of, right now, like, this moment now, I've kind of turned around, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm more of a Star Wars fan this month than I ever have before. Like, I'm really...
Yeah, I might play the both Force Unleashed 1 and 2 because they're part of the PlayStation Now bundle.
What era is that? That's it's got to be Empire era, right? Because Darth Vader's in that.
Yeah, it's before the events of A New Hope.
Okay, yeah.
And then the second one, I don't know exactly when it takes place. Fuck.
Oh, okay. Is the... You agreed to stay away, and Darth Vader saying, I lied.
That's from the first one.
That's from... Okay, I thought that was from this game for some reason, but I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. Okay. Force Unleashed.
I think
I'm very interested to see, and no spoilers either way, I'm interested to see if Darth Vader shows up in this game. Because I feel like... I haven't heard anything about him being in the game, but if he shows up, like, that's gonna be an oh shit moment. And I definitely think that, like a lot of things Star Wars, Darth Vader can be overused. But it's so refreshing when he just comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, I knew he was in Kenobi, but, like, once he actually gets into the show and starts doing shit, it's so interesting, and he's so good. Rogue One has probably one of the most unfortunate depictions of Darth Vader. Because, like, you know the scene at the end where he's, like, cutting down the rebels and shit, right?
Yeah.
But, like, that's really cool and all, but he does other shit in the movie. He's, like, in the movie, and he's, like, cracking jokes and, like, just...
BD?
He feels really out of character in Rogue One. I think that if we didn't know Darth Vader was in the movie and it was just the scene at the end, that would have been the biggest fucking reveal ever. Like, that would have been up there with fucking... Cap holding Mjolnir. Like, that would have been the fucking... If Rogue One had ended on that, like, it would have been that level, honestly, if you didn't even know that he was going to be in the movie, and that was the only time he appeared. Are we done on this planet?
For the moment, yeah.
Okay,
I can't remember if we go back.
I can't. Did we only come here to get force pull
And lore.
and lore? Okay, I just like you're leaving now, and I'm just like, why did we come here, or is it just to get the ability?
Now we can traverse through
Again,
new
I'm
places.
just talking about Star Wars. I'm not even really paying attention. Like my eyes are watching, but they're not comprehending. Wait, where are you going?
Thought it was the right way. Fucking
No,
rats.
if you want to go back to the ship, it's the other way. These guys also are some of the weakest enemies, the fucking rocket launcher guys.
Okay, yeah, that way, yeah.
Okay.
Now it's starting to, now I remember. Wee.
Yeah.
Wee.
I definitely think the mix of playing this game and having it be really good, and also just the Kenobi show being really good and solid, it's really reignited that spark. Because, like, I think people don't give Darth Vader enough credit. When he shows up and it's actually, like, well written, he's insanely menacing. And luckily, most of the stuff that's been done with Darth Vader is really good. I like Rogue One, and it just
Darth Vader is my favorite character within the series due to the fact of...
He's my favorite Sith, honestly. Like, Ahsoka definitely is my favorite Jedi. Who the fuck are you? Who is the pilot? Who is this guy?
He's a bounty hunter.
Where'd he come from?
From that door.
Why are you here? Okay.
Oh no, don't hurt me!
Yeah, and... Okay. Yeah, and Darth Vader, it's so unfortunate because, like, the prequels were only existed to give this concept of Anakin's fall to the dark side, and it does it so poorly. I think that...
But, like, his character change from Anakin to Skywalker was really good because he was such a whiny bitch in the first 3 movies.
Kind of. Like... It's definitely better with the hindsight of all the stuff that's come out since then, but I think that what they should have done is start from, I guess, Clone Wars. Like, if they were going to do the three, like, if we're going back to 1999, and if they're going to do the 3-movie trilogy, I think they should have started with Clone Wars era.
Something back there.
Have, like... Anakin probably doesn't even really need to be anybody special. Like, he can just be a Jedi that's part of the Order, serving under he's Obi-Wan's Padawan. Like, you can have... I think Attack of the Clones would still probably be too early. I think you need to do the Clone Wars era, have a lot more believable scenes of the romance between them. Like, Clone Wars is really good at I don't know, just it's hard to say what I would do different from what they already have done with Clone Wars, because Clone Wars just has way more time and way more effort putting it into explaining, like making the prequels characters good. Honestly, I hate the Anakin Padme romance in the prequels, but it's so good in the Clone Wars because, like, it has specifics of it that you don't think about because the prequels are too neat and tidy in that sort of context, that, like, they're able to do this romance without ever getting caught because they can just fly away to Naboo and have these long weekends together. That's boring, honestly. It's way more funny when you have scenes like in Clone Wars where they're fucking video Skyping and Rex, who knows about the romance, is like guarding the door, and Obi-Wan is like, Anakin in there talking to Padme, and it's really funny. I think so there's that. That's where I would start with. I think the first movie should have been like establishing the idea of the Clone Wars, like, you don't get any insight to what the clones are. And so when Order 66 happens, that's a much bigger reveal. I think that you have this era where you get to know Obi-Wan, his relationship with Anakin, because those are the two characters that we remember from the original trilogy. I gotta think, like what do I change and what do I leave in from the prequels that works and what doesn't, without the context of anything that's come out since then. Like, where do you go with this story? So I think, like, first movie should be... Oh, this is a concept that I actually think that I really like. I think Darth Maul should have been around for all three movies. And considering how they've made Maul obsessed with Obi-Wan, and it literally is the death of him in Rebels, I think that actually would have been really good way to portray that, is have Darth Maul not die at the end of the first movie, and have him, from that point on, have an unhealthy obsession with fighting and killing Obi-Wan. And because Obi-Wan is so distracted with the Maul menace, he's unable to see the descent to darkness for his apprentice. I think that's a really good way to portray that. I just have no idea how to split it into three movies now, because I think, like, the first movie could establish Darth Maul as this villain. They know that there's a threat of the looming Emperor, because I really like Palpatine as this manipulating everything puppet master. I think he's a really good villain for the prequels if they were done better. He's really good in Clone Wars, and I can say that just about everything from that era. It's really done shittily in the prequel movies, but done really good in Clone Wars TV show. I think that... I don't know.
Whoever locked me up took my lightsaber. Gotta get it back.
I think second movie should be basically what Revenge of the Sith is, more or less, but don't separate Obi-Wan and Anakin, have Obi-Wan fight Grievous. I think Grievous is an interesting character, but again, just have Maul be the villain. And then I think what they have to do is kind of what they ended up doing with Clone Wars, is have Order 66 happen in the second movie, and that's the big turning point, is that Sidious tries to kill Maul. Maul's still, like, a Sith and a bad person, but he's no longer needed by Sidious because he's got Vader now. And I think the third movie is basically what Kenobi has now done, and establishing that Vader does not want to be Anakin. He's rejected that side of himself. And then you can also have the final conflict between Obi-Wan and Maul, and him growing into the more wizened and whatever, you know,
yeah,
like the person that he is in the original. Like, if I were to go back in time and redo the prequel trilogy, I would do something like that. Have it happen a little bit later in the timeline. You literally don't need Phantom Menace to exist. And it's still, like, you don't have to watch Phantom Menace, and it still makes sense if you start from the story, and I think that's a big problem. I think that they started the trilogy too early. And obviously with that, how it is, you miss out on a lot of stuff that we've gotten since then, but I think that would be a lot more cohesive to the story from that point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like having it happen like halfway through the third movie, his descent, really doesn't work for me in the terms of the movies.
Do you need help? What? Sork Tormo?
Okay.
Okay. I guess you're good.
Another thing you'd probably have to do is basically what Clone Wars did and humanize the clones a lot more. One of the best things that Clone Wars did was introduce the idea of this Order 66 being part of the inhibitor chips, and I think like if you'd had basically a moment in the first or second movie where they do the same thing as what they do in Clone Wars, like they find out what the inhibitor chips are. They don't really know what they're used for, but there's just one clone that figures out what they are and is trying to warn everybody of Order 66, but nobody believes him.
Yeah.
It could make him Order 66 all the more tragic. And I'm not the only one that's pointed this out. Schaeferless has I've talked about this before. Schaeferless has a really good video going into depth about how Order 66 has kind of become one of the most important scenes in Star Wars. But like, with only the context of the original trilogy and the first two movies, watching Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith doesn't really matter because it's all these Jedi characters that we haven't like had any interactions with, and all these clone characters that we haven't had any interactions with, and it's more about the emotional weight of the Jedi Order collapsing than it is about all these people dying. But then Clone Wars comes along, gives a lot of them backstory, and while it's not great, it's still something, and makes the clones actually a tragic factor of this because they don't have any real control over themselves. And it's just like, just put all this stuff into the fucking movies. I hate having to live with the fact that the prequels are canon. It's just a weird thing to say. Because, like, some of the best Star Wars stuff comes from that era, too. And I just think that if prequels had better writing and better editing and just were focused on the right things, basically, it could have been a lot better. That, or, and hear me out, the original idea for Jar Jar stands, that he is the secret Sith mastermind. That's always my deep pull, is like, if Star Wars isn't going to be serious, if Star Wars is going to be goofy, I would want that. Because, like, if you look at Phantom Menace from the perspective of Jar Jar is actually a secret Sith Lord, it makes the movie, like, 90% better. Because, like, everything Jar Jar does is extremely calculated.
Oh, I'm happy to see you.
I've told you about what happens to him after Palpatine comes into power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
But it's like, just Phantom Menace, and like, Attack of the Clones it doesn't even get away with that idea, because there's stuff in Attack of the Clones that makes Jar Jar seem way smarter than he actually is. But like, let's talk about what Jar Jar does in Phantom Menace. Right off the bat, he meets the only two Jedi on Naboo when they come out of fucking nowhere during the droid attacks. He's also the only Gungan in the area, so it's like, why is he there? Why is he attacked with these Force users and is trying to get involved with them? So he infiltrates their group. He's involved with them. He guides them to the Gungans and gets them started on this journey. He's there with them. I don't know. I'd have to pull up like a guide of everything, but like,
he goes with them to...
he's around, and he's one of the first people that points out. He's interested in Anakin is the thing too. Like, he always seems to be paying more attention to Anakin than anybody else. And also a very good indication of potentially being a Sith Lord, because like Sidious was the same way. Like, Anakin had a lot of untapped potential in the Force, and the Jedi kind of saw that, but they also knew that he was sort of dark. And it's really weird how Phantom Menace is like, yeah, he could be on the dark side, and we're not going to let him be Qui-Gon's Padawan. And then Qui-Gon dies, it's like, okay, Obi-Wan, we don't want you to have him be your Padawan. But we're gonna let you do it anyway.
How about
And
I
fucking-
do it anyway?
Yeah, Phantom Menace's writing is all over the fucking place. And although that implies that it's actually good in parts, which it's not. What are we doing here again?
You get captured by a bounty hunter.
Oh, right. We never left the planet, we just got thrown into this part.
And who are you?
Who am I? I'm Sword Tormo, baby. I'm the boss of this operation.
This guy feels like he could be played by Jeff Goldblum.
For bringing us together.
I will. As soon as we get out of here.
So, what would have happened if you'd actually been able to beat that guy?
You can't. It's scripted.
Ah, okay.
An enforcer through my body.
Feels like a fucking jail scene from Bloodborne, but actually, scripted.
Let's see what he got. Oh, somebody get baby his toy.
Give me my fucking lightsaber.
Show?
Where did it come from?
I don't know.
I smell blood.
Oh my god, it's a frog!
We celebrate
Okay.
those fallen challengers of ours
Ow, I hate.
and the great sacrifice they made to make us all rich.
Oh, I forgot he pulled out his tongue. Go.
Oh, yeah, you can also cut it off, I think.
Let's do that.
Nice!
Cow got your tongue?
Yeah, I think prequels definitely need the most revision, but like, and I definitely only do this with stuff that's like good but not quite good enough. I go through all these theories of like how I would do it better, and pretty much every Star Wars movie has something like that. Like I think Return of the Jedi is the only one from the original trilogy I would probably edit around, because Return of the Jedi is not great, but I still think it's better than most of the movies that came after it. The sequel trilogy, there's a lot to say there. Not as much as prequel trilogy, but I just think that the biggest problem, and I'm not nearly the first person to say this, but it really just should have just been planned from the beginning. I think that it was a bad idea to give Rian Johnson Last Jedi because he didn't really care about all the characters that were established in the first movie. And he did his best with Rey and Luke, and you could really tell that, but almost the rest of the movie is entirely, like, really bad. But it still had interesting concepts, and it's trying something different. And it's not, like... It's not my favorite movie, but it's also not my least favorite. But then, when J.J. Abrams got the reins back, he's like, no, I had all these concepts I was building up towards. And he tried to do them anyway, even though Rian Johnson's wrote endings for them. It's just really weird. Like, I think that if J.J. Abrams had done all three movies, it would have been fine. It would have been very serviceable. Like, Force Awakens is really good. It's a really good movie. But I kind of wanted something more. I think that if every movie in the trilogy was like that, I would have been fine. Like, I wouldn't have disliked it. I think if Rian Johnson had been given the reins from the beginning, we probably would have missed out on some of the best stuff from Finn in the first movie, and some of the stuff, some of the really interesting stuff from the first movie in general. But I think he did Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker, and Rey's stories pretty well. I think that Rian Johnson would have been the best choice to just have control of all three movies, and that's the easiest way to put that. There's so much you'd have to change with the sequels that you basically would have to do everything differently if I were in charge. It's so funny though, because like the prequels and the sequels are both very flawed, very good, but also very flawed in almost entirely opposite ways. Prequels are what happens when you have one person have too much creative control, and sequels are what happens when you have too many people have separate creative control. And it just like baffles me that one of the highest grossing film franchises in the world is so inconsistent. Like, so many other franchises get the bare minimum right, and Star Wars can't even do that.
Come over here, bitch!
God, I can't wait for God of War.
Now.
BD, stim here.
Yeah.
BD, I need help.
I hate that when that happens, you know? You're just like, I pressed the button for heal, why aren't you healing me?
Something big. The best is yet to come. I believe you know our next challenge.
I also, this is kind of a weird aside, but I really wish that Star Wars would stop putting transphobic actresses in their franchises, because, like, it hasn't happened a lot, but it's happened enough. I'm just like, what are you doing? Why?
I'm pretty sure they didn't know that.
It's no, like, I don't know. It's also a factor of Disney not fucking caring, because, like, the whole controversy surrounding the actress they chose for the live-action Mulan. That sucked.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so when live-action Mulan came out, there was that whole thing in Beijing, remember? Like, remember the guy that won the Blizzard tournament?
Yeah.
That whole thing, that conflict was going on. Even though she was, like, an Asian actress, the woman who played Mulan in the live-action Disney Mulan was very actively on the side of the police officers that were beating people.
Ooh.
Yeah, very vocally about that, and at no point was any, like, even though people were asking, at no point was Disney ever like, no, we're gonna recast her. Like, they were fine with just having her on and do the project.
Oh.
And while nobody in Star Wars is that bad, like, the people that they've gotten to play live action Ahsoka and
Yeah.
don't know her name, but whoever the chick is that's with Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Ming-Hua. The actress's name is Ming-Hua.
The homophobic.
Yeah, they're both terribly transphobic, and it's like,
Wait, the woman plays Ahsoka as well?
yeah, which really sucks, because she's also she's actually not a bad actress either, because she's in the Defender series. She was in the Netflix Defender series. She's like the doctor who takes care of Matt Mercer. And, like, she's good in that, but it's like, knowing that has kind of ruined her for me. And it really sucks for Ahsoka, because, again, Ahsoka's like my favorite character. It's like, I can't even enjoy her in Mandalorian Season 2, because I'm just like,
Mari.
Cal, we found Tarful, and he is willing to meet you.
Cool. I'm going to take a quick pit stop to
The
Dathomir.
Empire overran our position at the refinery. Saw retreated off-world.
It's also something they really just need to do more of in Star Wars, is just make more variety of planets. Like, Solo, honestly, if you haven't seen Solo, I really recommend it. Just skip the ending, kind of. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's a scene in it that didn't make sense on release and makes even less sense now that we have Rebels' finale. But, like, Solo starts with a swamp planet, which is where you don't really get a whole lot. Like, not swampy, but, like, marshy, I guess. And it's like, it basically starts as a, Vietnam movie, kind of? Like, it feels like a Vietnam War movie. And it's really creative, and you don't spend a whole lot of time there, but it's really fun and interesting. And I just... like, it's really cool seeing new environments in Star Wars. I feel like we've seen, like, 1 billion desert planets. We've seen a bunch of blizzard planets. And it's like, there's a lot of variety that you can do with different planet types. And I feel like we're just barely scratching the surface.
Yeah. Like, very tempted to skip this, but I know you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention. I really should be, but I just like Star Wars, dude.
Before you came along, all I cared about was a tight hand on a stiff eater. That's a game term.
I don't know what it is.
Cal, life's not a game.
I'm aware. I watched all of my friends and family die.
For you two, all I cared about
It was like 5 years ago. I'm still not over that. I never got therapy. I mean, who can I talk to that isn't part of the Empire?
Now it's
Hey, kiddo. So so you had to watch everyone die. That sucked. But you know what will help you? Joining the Empire. We have cookies.
God, that was one of the worst parts of Last Jedi too. Is like that specific issue, because like Finn is really cool in Force Awakens. He's a reformed stormtrooper. He's a child soldier that.
So that rumor was true that they were just just kidnapping babies.
Yeah, and they pretty much explicitly say it in Force Awakens, I believe.
All right,
but
so
like
do you want to check out the new stuff you got?
Sure,
for the lightsabers?
why not? No new colors. I don't think I got anything new. I think these were all starting stuff. Valor and Wisdom. I don't think I got anything new here. I'll switch to this one though. What did you get?
I don't know.
I think it was actually the Passion and Strength. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I had Valor and Wisdom before.
I think it's material.
Oh, maybe that could also be it. Ooh, I think you got this. That looks new.
I think there were two things I got.
Ooh, that looks new. I definitely have not seen that. I'm gonna do that one. That's a very nice color.
Now then.
All right, do a Dathomir.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'm explaining why I don't like it really sucks because like Finn has this interesting story about he's a reformed stormtrooper, and there's a lot you can do with that. Like you can have them like at no point in any of the trilogy is Finn like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be killing these guys. They're just following orders, and if we could give them the opportunity to reform like me, like there's a lot you can do with that. But he also sees the horrors of war and chooses, he willingly chooses in Force Awakens to be on the side of the rebellion. And then in Last Jedi, he has to be told by some rando,
let's get out there,
that war is bad. And it's like, yeah, he knows. He's aware. Did you forget how to land? It's square.
Oh, yeah.
We're Dathomir bound.
So, do you know anything about the planet Dathomir itself?
It appeared in...
I'm surprised Cordova went there.
What other where did it appear as well?
Put on the Manus once we arrive. Red sunlight cannot be good for your skin.
This place used to be home to a powerful cabal of force wielders.
Oh, it's the Night Sisters. Yeah, that's the one. They spent a lot of time in there on that and Clone Wars once they really get into it, because almost an entire season is devoted to the Night Sisters being like, hey, Sidious is kind of a threat and could be really bad for us. We need to make a new Sith to help us take over.
We should be careful.
And so they basically make Savage Opress, beautiful name by the way, who is a member of Maul's race. Like Maul's race is actually kind of interesting. They're very they're split among like gender, because so all the males look like Darth Maul and all the women look like the Night Sisters, but they also live on opposite sides of the planet and don't really interact with each other because they fucking hate each other.
Cal, a word? I'd say Cordova's reason for coming here was extremely important to risk his life, but risks were second nature to him.
After what I've seen so far, I can imagine.
There's more to come, and I'm not sure either of our imaginations could conjure up what we might face.
Have you talked to our captain? I bet he could.
That one is stronger than he realizes.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, and so they make the Savage Opress, and then I think I can't remember how exactly it happens, but eventually Savage finds out that Darth Maul is alive, and so he finds him, brings him back to the Night Sisters. They give him the robot legs, which actually is kind of weird because the first scene that you see him, he has like spider robot legs, and then he loses them somehow, and then he gets the new ones, which are a lot less cool looking, but legs.
What up, motherfucker?
Yeah, so the Night Sisters is like, hey, you guys can fuck shit up now. You're like the new Master Apprentice.
Yep.
That does not end up working because as soon as Sidious finds out, he tells Count Dooku to go tell Grievous to kill basically everyone. And it's actually one of the only scenes in the entire series where they let Grievous actually be cool, because like for some reason Clone Wars Grievous acts like he does in Revenge of the Sith, which is not interesting or cool. He actually acts like he does in Gennady Tartakovsky's Clone Wars series. He's actually kind of really badass as a really powerful leader, and
that's nice.
He fucking basically not single-handedly, but he takes this army of droids down to Dathomir and completely wipes out the Night Sisters. And they're like, you fucking suck, we're ghosts now. But also we really can't do anything because we're ghosts and this sucks. And Grievous is like, that was weird. Yeah, I fucking love the Maul arc in Clone Wars, where it actually, like, it's a lot of forward momentum. Like, I don't hate the war stuff in Clone Wars, but it feels like it's kind of pretty recursive up to that point.
Fight him. It's very interesting.
Just describe your experience and run away.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because they do reference Maul here.
Yeah. Because I feel like Maul is definitely a character that, as soon as they realized people liked him and thought he was cool, they immediately regretted killing him off in the first movie he's in. Because, like, they used him to such a point that I think he's actually been overused now. And so I'm kind of glad that they're backing away. Yeah, and no spoilers. That was what I was talking about with Solo. I don't know why I said no spoilers, because it's kind of the opposite. Maul shows up at the end of
motherfuckers
of Solo as like a Thanos cameo. It's really weird because Maul and Solo have nothing to do with each other, and also since then we've watched Maul die, and
like twice.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the plot of Solo at all. It's really weird.
Teach you this lesson, old man.
It's really weird. And he's the same way in Rebels as well. Maul shows up in Rebels all the fucking time, but because it's a much more, like, lighthearted show, he doesn't do fucking anything. He's actually menacing in Clone Wars, but he doesn't do fucking anything in Rebels, and it's annoying. But, like, for Clone Wars, I basically have no complaints about Maul at all. He's used the exact right amount. He's actually a threat, but also not quite strong enough to defeat the people that he needs to defeat. Like Obi-Wan and eventually Sidious. Holy shit, by the way. One of the best scenes in the series, and I can't believe they almost left off on it, but Clone Wars got canceled right as Maul gets captured by Sidious, and it was one of the biggest fuck yous I've ever seen, because it ends on such a fucking cliffhanger. You're like, what the fuck happens to Maul? I'm so glad that they got that last season to figure out, like, Maul basically gets away, but yeah, I just fucking so much. When Maul showed up in Clone Wars, though, I was so hyped. Like you actually get his character motivations, and he gets to actually speak, which is very, very unfortunate. Like, they gave him, like, 3 lines in Phantom Menace, and if you don't remember that, that's okay. They're all deleted. They didn't give Maul any speaking lines in Phantom Menace.
You like that skin for him?
Cool. It's cool.
Alright.
I'm gonna turn the AC on.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. It feels weird because it's only 74, but it's also like, I don't know.
Feels like 100.
Yeah, but it's like, again, I have to reiterate the fact that every Sith is really interesting, and once you actually get Maul's motivations and how his character works, like, he's like, yeah, I want revenge against Obi-Wan for doing this, but I also, like, know that my master has taken another apprentice, and if he finds out, I'm fucked. So I have to be, like, kind of on the down low. But also, eventually, he lets his Sith ambition get the better of him, and he fucking takes over Mandalore, basically not basically single-handedly. He has his brother help him out.
He has a brother?
Yeah, Savage Opress.
Oh.
I don't know, I can't remember if they're literally brothers, or if that's just a figure of speech, but they refer to each other as brother. But yeah, it's actually, like, really interesting, the dynamic, because, like, it's something that I think that it's kind of, like, weird. Like, you don't expect it, but it kind of makes a lot of sense. Oh, I had to load in those fucking carvings. Because Sith have had, like, they haven't always had it, but at least in the form, in most of the material we've gotten, they've had this idea of the rule of two.
Trespass, Jedi.
Well, hello there.
Sister, I had heard you were all dead.
Not all.
We are dead, but
Forbidden to you. Leave at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that, but perhaps we could help each other. You see,
What?
Easy. I'm not your enemy.
Your actions say otherwise.
Wait, hold on. I'm not here to...
Yeah, so Night Sisters are basically necromancers with the Force.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, they're not technically Force users, but their magic is part of the Force. It's like a weird middle, like, gray area. Like, they never really explain it, and I don't think they need to.
Jesus Christ.
I forgot what I was talking about. I think I was still talking about Maul at some point. Yeah, oh, okay, so, like, it was really interesting concept, because, like, the Sith have always had this, or at least, not always, but for most of the material that we've seen, they've always had this idea that there was the rule of two. So what happens if you have two other Sith? Because they can exist at the same time. You certainly see that with Dooku and Anakin.
Not so bad.
Man, shut up.
Like if you literally look at the rule of two, like what it entails. You want to go scan that guy?
What?
Scan him.
Oh, Brian.
Basically, the rule of two is to make the Sith as strong as possible, because there's a master and apprentice, and the only way that can change is either the master finds a new, stronger apprentice and replaces the old one with the new one, or the apprentice overthrows the master, becomes the new master, and it takes on an apprentice of their own. But it's like you can have more than two Sith at a time, and you see that with Dooku, Sidious, and Anakin all at the same time. Sort of. But it's like, what if you have this other pair of Sith that are trying to take over as the real rule of two? That's kind of what Asajj kind of felt like it was leaning towards. Because there's also an arc in Clone Wars where Sidious is like, hey, Dooku, what the fuck are you doing with your apprentice? Like, just, like, gives him a look. And so he's like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to kill Asajj Ventress. And so there's this whole arc of Dooku, he like, they're in space and he crashes Asajj Ventress's ship and she tries to get revenge on him. But then she just kind of leaves the show, basically. She
doesn't die?
She doesn't die. She stays alive, but she doesn't really do anything. And I think that's another thing of waste potential. But I think that the mall stuff is, like, a better way to do that. I think that... I don't know. It almost feels like the Asajj stuff was leading into that, but then they realized it would be way easier to have this other character, Savage, fill the role, because Asajj was just too different from Maul. Like, they were both really strong personality types, and neither of them would willingly fill the role of the apprentice. I don't know. Asajj Ventress is a weird enigma.
Ow, you dick.
Like, I've never really understood why she exists, except to fill time in the original Clone Wars cartoon. Because, like, I mean, it's fully possible for Dooku to have had the idea of getting an apprentice and then overthrowing Sidious, but I also think that Dooku's smart enough to know that Sidious is really fucking strong. And having openly having an apprentice basically just paints a target on the back of his head. Like, I don't know. I also don't know why Sidious put up with having Asajj around for so long.
Ah, fuck!
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
taken out by the little motherfucker with the goddamn bow.
Yeah, I think that, like, Clone Wars felt like it needed more villains, and it used characters from the Clone Wars series, but it didn't really necessarily know how to do them in a good way. Like, I love a lot of things Clone Wars, but I think Asajj and Grievous are two of the most misplaced characters in that show. Because Grievous always feels like a fucking Saturday morning cartoon villain. Like, they never take Grievous seriously. They never get he gets one moment when he kills the Night Sisters of being really cool. But, like, other than that, he's treated as a joke the entire way through. And it really sucks because it means that Grievous didn't get the time to shine that a lot of other characters that were, like, made better by that series did. I forgot where we're going with this, honestly, but it's okay. Stop it!
Anyway,
I just, like, I want to stop talking about Star Wars at some point, but we're still playing Star Wars, so it's like, it's still on the mind, you know?
Stim here.
Don't fucking...
I fell off, give me my stim.
Fuck you.
This guy. This fucker.
Come on, bitch.
Come on. I'm almost at enough experience to level up. Oh, hi. These guys trying to ambush us around corners.
Get over here.
Oh, I remember now. Okay, so, like, Clone Wars introduces a lot of villains that seem kind of misplaced, even though Clone Wars, like, it also has villains that make sense because they're part of the Separatists, who they're fighting against. But I think, like, the version of that for the original trilogy is basically the Inquisitors, because, like, original trilogy also does not have a whole lot of villains. You got your Darth Vader, you got your Imperial officers, who are basically just people, and they're not super interesting, in my opinion. And you've got Boba Fett, and I've kind of already explained why I don't really care about him. But if you do a story during the original trilogy area, like who are you gonna have as the villains? And so I think that having the Inquisitors, like inventing the idea of the Inquisitors was a really good idea, because then you can have villains be someone other than Darth Vader and characters that we see die in the original trilogy. I also kind of wish Palpatine had more to do in the original trilogy era, because like we've never seen him do anything until Return of the Jedi, and it's weird because he's so prominent in Clone Wars and the prequel era, but like nothing that they've released since then that takes place during the original trilogy era, like well, basically anything has features the Emperor. It's really weird because, and that's one of the issues I have with Return of the Jedi, is that Return of the Jedi, well, the Emperor was already established before that point, but he feels like a really weird out of nowhere twist.
Okay, here it is. The thing I wanted you to get.
All right, is it the Darksaber?
No.
That would be cool. I just came to this random bench and I decided to... It gave me the inspiration to work on my lightsaber and do something to it. Now it's a double lightsaber. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Also, that should have been Rey's weapon. Like, I don't have like a lot of specific details about how I would change the sequel trilogy, because there's a lot just wrong with it in general. But I think that Rey, like, this should have been the easiest thing to do in the world. Because Rey, in Force Awakens, uses the staff, you know? She's got that staff, and then she switches to Luke's lightsaber, and then in Last Jedi, they break it. And it's broken, and it cannot be fixed. And then in Rise of Skywalker, or I fucking can't remember these names anymore. Rise of Skywalker, she has fixed it, even though that's a practice that hasn't been around for, you know, at this point 50 years. And she has no way of figuring out how to do that. I feel like if she had made her own lightsaber and it was the fucking dual blade, like, I'm also really pissed at the trailer for the trailer for Rise of Skywalker is one of the worst things ever.
Yeah.
Because it has that clip of, I guess you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, so you wouldn't know. She has a Force vision of evil Rey with a lightsaber we've never fucking seen before. It's like the normal lightsaber, and then it flips into a dual blade, and it's literally only for a vision.
That's
it exists.
Fucking cool.
Hey, what's up?
So the thing about the dual lightsaber, you switch between single and dual.
Yeah.
Dual is faster but weaker, and the window of deflecting shots back at clone troopers is longer.
Yeah.
That would explain your survival. Who are you?
But it's really good for attacking crowds.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I just wish that, yeah, like, it also feels like the easiest decision in the world, because we've only seen one other person use the dual blade, and that's Maul. And so I think it'd be really interesting to see, like, a hero with that kind of lightsaber. I don't know, it's fucking so much. I think that if you're gonna watch Star Wars, there's two things you should skip over anything else. Do not watch Phantom Menace. Actually, fuck, I can't even say that anymore, because that introduces Maul.
You know about these ruins.
Don't watch fucking Rise of Skywalker. You can cut it out of the series and it doesn't change anything. It's the new Phantom Menace. It sucks. But yeah. If you're gonna watch all of Star Wars, just stop at Last Jedi. Just let it be open to interpretation. Trust me, there's nothing worth watching in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I can't even say that about any other movie in the series. Everything has a little bit of something. Like Phantom Menace introduces Maul. Basically the only thing. Attack of the Clones. It's kind of difficult to gauge because like the enjoyment for Attack of Clones is largely dependent on other material like Clone Wars, but I think the best part of Attack of the Clones... Oh god. Oh god, I'm actually blanking here.
See it, Anakin, like, he starts to slowly go towards the dark side, because you see him massacre a bunch of Tusken Raiders.
Sort of.
Yeah, new shit for the dual blade.
Delay combo, waiting longer to press attack. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit, I know that style. I mean, obviously it's Maul style, but, like... Ooh, yeah, okay. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's neato burrito.
Oh yeah, we already did get the...
We did get the
BD upgrade, so...
Okay.
I say...
there is stuff on the Force tree that I would want to get, but I feel like that is, like, the fucking... I want to do the lightsaber throw, but I also really want to do the more stuff for the dual blades, because that's like...
Alright.
Yeah, that's...
We'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely lost what I was talking... Oh, yeah, I was talking about sequel trilogy. I'm just going to forget about that. That's really interesting that they let you do that, because obviously, like, if I wanted to do a Star Wars game and I had a dual blade, that would be, like, the first thing, right? But, like, in actual Star Wars lore, that's a fighting style of using, like, sheathing your blade and then pulling it out to, like, you know... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, feint your opponent, I guess?
Trick him?
More like you're a little more tricky. Like you're using your weapon to its full potential by having the retracted blade, and like no other weapon can claim that. And you don't see them do it in the series, and there's a good reason for that. And it sucks, but it's also lore-wise, it's called Form Zero fighting. There's like I think 9 forms of fighting in terms of lightsaber, and if you actually pay attention to like what the forms are, it's really interesting because you can look at how like I said, it's the prequel stuff again. It's like if you actually look into it, it's actually kind of good. But like Anakin and Obi-Wan are masters of specific forms of fighting. And in the fight with Count Dooku at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, they use those forms to catch Dooku off guard. They use them to deliberately lull him into a false sense of security. Like, yeah, I can take these guys. I fought them in Attack of the Clones, and I had no problem. But then they switch styles mid-fight to forms that they are also really good at, but Dooku is, like, they're less good at them, but Dooku is less prepared to fight them. And, like, Dooku's whole, like when you start looking at that specifically, like, Dooku himself is a master of one-handed, like, it's got a specific name, but
yeah.
The reason he does that is because Christopher Lee is actually an expert fencer, and he decided that his fighting style would be related to fencing, and so they made this whole lightsaber fighting style that looks and feels like fencing. And that's really cool and all. But Form Zero is when you use your lightsaber and have it retreat and retract and then unleash it to your advantage. However, nobody that we've seen in the series uses it that way because neither the Jedi nor the Sith want to. The Sith feel like if you need to resort to tactics like that, you are weak, and that's kind of the entire epitome of what you don't want to be as a Sith. You want to be able to beat your opponents with raw strength alone.
And the Jedi
obviously, yeah, that they would see that as dishonorable. So neither side really wants to do it that way. But it's also like, I don't know, like more people would be open to it, you know?
I picked up a new Switch.
Did you?
Yeah, that one.
That one? Okay.
And I think I picked up new material. I picked up 2 things. Nah, yeah. I don't know, it was a new emitter.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know nearly enough about lightsabers to be like, oh, that's such and such as lightsaber. You can switch to blue if you want.
I'm gonna do orange,
Okay.
just to spite you. That's what. Here you go.
Oh, sure.
That's all I wanted to do.
Okay.
The rest is up to you.
Okay, but there's nothing left to do on Dathomir, right?
Not at the moment. It is story connected, so you don't have to worry about like missing out on anything there.
Okay.
But
This Roshir looks great, Breeze.
You know, it's not the origin tree or anything, but it does the job.
I like what you did with the branches.
Huh, thanks, kid. You know, you're all right.
Alright, what's the next? Oh yeah, I gotta go Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
So next.
God, I really want to play the original Battlefront 2 now.
Yeah.
Fuck.
En route to Kashyyyk.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot that's like. Obviously, not a lot of people are going to find it interesting, but I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential in terms of the fighting styles of lightsabers. I feel like that would be a really good choice for a game. Like you start from the base level, you start as a Padawan, and you know what? Fuck it. It can be like you start during the Clone Wars era, and then it goes into Order 66, and then the aftermath. Kind of like this game, I guess, but like.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It'd be interesting to see a game where you get to choose a form of fighting style, and then you can upgrade that or mix and match with other types of fighting from like the actual lore. I feel like
that would be cool.
I don't know. It was like sort of like what Ghost of Tsushima did. You played a Ghost of Tsushima. Sort of like that with the like different types of stances in that game. I don't know. There's a lot of variety in the Star Wars forms, but I feel like I don't know. There's like gotta be something you can do with it that is in a way that is both like immediately apparent and impressionable. I don't know. Because like. The thing that sucks is that basically post-Clone Wars, nobody really uses styles anymore. Like, you've got Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, and then basically every other person that uses a lightsaber after that point has no real training, so they just kind of hit each other. And while I don't hate all of the sequel fights, I think a lot of sequel fights are really good. They also lack that
kind of lazy.
Not lazy. It's just it feels. I don't know. It's hard to explain because that's another thing that like the sequels and the prequels are opposite. They're both bad in different ways. I think the lightsaber fights are both good, but in different ways. Like I think the lightsaber fights in the sequel trilogy feel a lot more visceral, you know, like they're actually like people trying to survive, but it's not like that necessarily makes sense. I think Kylo Ren should really have a more dignified fighting style, considering he was trained by Luke Skywalker and also like during this era of peace where he could have put more time into training, and then he got trained by Snoke, who I guess is a clone that Palpatine made. Not a clone of Palpatine, but a clone that fucking Rise of Skywalker fucking sucks.
Scott, look over there.
Why? What's over there?
You can look back.
What are we looking at?
I don't know.
I don't even know where we're going.
Some nice looking birds. You're on Kashyyyk, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, I fucking missed that door again. That was what me when I started this planet the first time. I was like, where did it go? And I was wandering around for like 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, there's a door right there. Are you ready to get back into it?
Actually.
Yeah.
I can play the Switch at the same time.
Sure. Just as long as you're able to pay attention, yeah, and not be in the other
No, I'm
room.
just gonna play Animal Planet. Or Animal.
Animal Planet.
Yeah, it's where you're a safari life rescuer and you go in to like take care of animals and make sure population rates are going up. Huh.
Fuck the animals.
Fuck that turtle.
How do you save? Oh, prison.
What?
I hate that feature. The fucking auto switching when you turn on a console.
Oh.
Like, you didn't do anything, but you had the Switch plugged in for just long enough for that the TV was like, hey, you want to switch the Switch, right? No, I don't want to do that.
I'm sorry.
It's alright.
I'm sorry, I fuck everything up.
I don't know who asked for that feature.
I don't think it's
Like, does
right?
it really take that much time out of your day to press the button to change inputs?
Yes.
People are so fucking lazy.
I thought about doing Bobo as you, but
Bobo
that will require a lot of thought process, and I won't be able to
Trust
watch.
me, yeah, no, I've been trying to do that one as my game where I listen to streams on it.
Can't.
I can't, yeah. Honestly, so I got Baba Is You. It's a nice little puzzle game.
I got him, Bobo.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a nice little puzzle game, and basically the difficulty is like this. And I don't mean that it just kind of goes up. I mean that it keeps going up, and it never stops going up. So I'm at a point now where I basically, every puzzle, right from the start, I'm looking at it, I was like, I have no fucking clue. Like, it starts off very, very simple.
Do you know how it goes?
No.
No.
No? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to answer for him, but, like...
Do you want him to describe?
Oh, I want him to do the first level, just so we can see what it's like.
I mean...
Alright, I'm just gonna...
That's why I usually do, like,